Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana market update video. Today is Friday, the 20th of September. Hope you all are having a good Friday. Happy FriYAY. Exciting weekend here. Not too much going on. A couple birthday parties, and then we've got the Chiefs on Sunday night, which will be really fun to watch. So, with that being said, today we're going to talk about the D23 2024 collector's box. We're going to go through the individual cards. We're going to look at the PSA 10 gem mint rate. We're going to look at the last solds on eBay for those cards. And we're just going to kind of do a general synopsis of what those cards, what the value of that box is. I will say just off the top, this box is something that I'm a huge fan of. The cards inside are gorgeous. The artwork is just beautiful. The enchanted foil on the full arts with the text box enhancements and things like that. Like, it's just, they're 10 out of 10. I've opened them and shown them on camera before. I have a video about it on my channel. I think the box is just a very good product. It's a product that I enjoyed opening, and once again, the artwork is just 10 out of 10. This brave little Tailor art is probably my favorite, to be completely honest. Like, if I had to pick one, irrespective of price, if I had to just pick one brave little Tailor art, it would probably be this one. I think they just did an amazing job on it. So, with that being said, getting into the product, remember, this is a product that came out about a month and a half ago. MSRP was about $99, or was $99. You had to be in person at these like 6 or 7 different places around the world to be able to get the product. You had to stand in line. There was huge lines, obviously massive reseller market. And it was $99, and you could buy 2, and then you had to get back in the back of the line. And some people walked away with this from this event with like a shopping cart full. Like, I saw pictures on Twitter, people had like 20, 30, 40, 50 boxes at one time. So some people scalped a ton of these and bought them for resale. Some people just got their 2 and walked away. At the end of the day, I'm in the Midwest. I didn't have the opportunity to get this box in person, so I bought 1 on secondary, kicking myself for not buying more, to be honest, but there was reasons for that, and that's just part of it. You can't buy unlimited of everything, right? You have to kind of pick and choose your battles. Right now, I've got a couple goals that I need to accomplish, and D23 2024 collector's boxes wasn't a big part of that. With that being said, from an investment perspective, it's a great play. So if you bought 20 of these, congrats. They're going up quickly, and it's a fantastic product. So with that being said, right now on TCG Player, lowest price is about $315 all in. When we hop over to eBay, lowest price is about $285. So you're saving what, like 30, 40 bucks if you go over to eBay and buy it there. So I would recommend doing that initially. Just if you are looking to get one of these, go to eBay to buy it, because you're getting a little bit of a discount there. And then hopping into the gem mint rate. So these cards, the good thing about this box, the box is very well maintained, it's very well packaged, and the cards inside are very well secure in the box. I know, like, if any of you guys used to collect Pokemon, some of the times you open those sealed boxes that had like promos and things like that, and they were very beat up. They weren't that protected. Obviously, that was the 90s and the 2000s, so a lot different time frame than now. But the cards in these boxes are very well taken care of, and we see that come through in the gem mint rate. We look at cards like the Brave Little Tailor. 168 have been graded in total thus far, and I want you guys, the total graded quantity, don't worry about that. It's very early. These numbers are going to go up tremendously. This is not about the quantity. We just want to have an idea of what the rate of getting a 10 is. So 168 have been graded. 139 have graded 10. We look at the Cinderella Stout Hearted. 167 have been graded. 137 have been graded 10. Ursula Deceiver, 161, 139. You get the idea here. These cards are getting a gem mint grade the majority of the time. We're talking some of that 80% plus territory. If you send in your box set and you took care of them, you opened it carefully, you got them sleeved, you got them sent off to PSA, you're probably going to get a gem mint 10 across the board, to be completely honest, which is great. That's what you want out of a box like this. You want to have cards that are in very good shape. When we look at something like the Disney 100 box, the Rise of the Floodborn gift set that had the Disney 100 promos in it, that box had good quality for the most part, but the Mauis in that print run have been historically bad. We're talking like 25 to 30% gem mint rate on that particular card. And so when we see a product like that, like the Maui, while it doesn't have the demand of, say, the Elsa, is going to command a significant premium in the PSA 10 copy, because you're getting a gem mint grade a very low percentage of the time. And so that's a card where, you start to see some of those outliers on demand and supply. It's so hard to grade. With this box, not so much. You're getting a gem mint grade quite a bit of the time across the board, which is really good to see. Now, the one caveat is that we have Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer, which was not included in the box. This was given out at the D23 event in Anaheim, is seeing a 60%, I'd say, Gym mint rate, we see 208 PSA 10s thus far out of 350, excuse me, 353 graded. So this card is grading a lot worse. This was not in the collector's box though. While it is the same release, this card is not included in that box, and so printing a little bit different, storage a little bit different. It would appear that these cards are not as good of quality. So that card is one that's probably going to command a premium in a PSA 10 copy because it's just a little bit harder to grade. So something to keep in mind, and as we continue to track these cards and as they get older and older, just keep in mind that if you get a sealed box, you're probably going to get PSA 10s. Obviously, there's one-offs, the unfortunate people who didn't get 10s on some of these. But at the end of the day, you're probably going to get 10s. Now, if you get the Mickey, that one's going to be a little bit harder. You're looking at more of a 50 to 60% gem rate for that particular card. And we have seen, we'll continue, I wouldn't say we have proof of this yet. We don't have evidence, but we have seen a trend over our last couple market reports where the gem mint rates have started to go down. We look at things like the first chapter and Rise of the Floodborn. These cards are grading harsher and harsher, and I think there's a correlation there between value and things like that. I've gone into tangents on that in the past. I'm not going to do that today, where PSA, as cards get more valuable, PSA grades harder and harder. I think that has to do with their guarantee and insurance and things like that, liability. But at the end of the day, right now things are going very well. We'll see what they do in the future, but I think just overall these cards are very, very good quality, which is great. Once again, that goes back to this product as a whole. I think the packaging looks great. I think it displays well. Opening it was fantastic, and then the cards inside, the artwork and everything. Once again, I've done a whole video about it. 10 out of 10. I think they absolutely killed it. My favorite Brave Little Tailor art thus far, and we see that in some of the secondary market. So with that being said, hopping over to the PSA 10 last solds. Keep in mind, guys, our cheapest box on eBay was like $285 roughly. If you think about, if you buy a box for $285, you send it for grading all in. If you grade just the 6 cards and you're looking at insured shipping there and back, you're probably at like $100 all in between grading fees and shipping. So let's say your all-in cost is about $385 when you buy, or we'll round it up to $400. You buy the box for $285, you grade all the cards, you get them back, and your all-in cost is about $400. Like I said, most of the time you're going to get PSA 10s, but at the end of the day, you might be a person that doesn't, but the gem rates are very, very high. With that being said, we see a PSA 10 Oswald go for about 120, anywhere between, I would say, 100 to 130, 140. We see some at 245 and 190. Those were some of the first sold, so those honestly don't really mean that much right now. I would say you could get 100 on the Oswald pretty easily. A couple of days ago, one sold for 120 on Buy It Now. So you're looking at about 100 for the Oswald. Brave Little Tailor, you're anywhere between 200 to 250. I feel like is a pretty good price range. There was an anomaly sale in here. I want your guys' thoughts on. Let's hear. 227 sold a couple days ago, so 230 for the Mickey sounds about right. Obviously, like I said, around 200. But there was a sale in here. This one, I cannot figure out why this thing sold for $710. It had 39 bids. It was 5 days ago. It's the D23 PSA 10 Mickey, Brave Little Tailor, nothing crazy, at least that I can see, and it sold for $710 when there were, this was 2 days before, 152. What's the difference there? What am I missing? Is this like some special seller, or am I just missing something on the card? Any insights you guys have? I appreciate it, because shill bidding is one thing, but this is it's 5x the market price for the card at the time. So nevertheless, I digress, but I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts on why this one hit 710. But overall, I would say this card's a $200 card roughly, graded in a PSA 10. It's an iconic art. It's a beautiful card. Gets a gem mint grade a lot of the time. It's just, in terms of like collecting and things like that, like these are just, this is what I'm here for. Nicholas Cole is my favorite artist in Lorcana. I think he did a great job with this artwork, and then they obviously reimagined it, added the text box and the enchanted foil, etc. I think that 10 out of 10, this card is tremendous. And actually, now that I think about it, this might be the first and only Brave Little Tailor art that does have the enchanted foil, because someone pointed out to me that the D23 2022 Brave Little Tailor art, we'll show it real quick here just so everyone knows what I'm talking about. This first edition Mickey, this card is not foil. The rest of the D23 2022 collector's box the box of 6, they all are the traditional art, like this Brave Little Tailor is, but they have the enchanted foil on them. This card is non-foil, this Mickey. And so then we had, obviously you have the regular foil, and then you have the non-foil in the first chapter. You have the trophy variety that has the you have like the golden one, obviously not the enchanted foil. So this might actually be the first Brave Little Tailor that has the enchanted foil, which is another element to it, and probably one of the reasons why it's my favorite cards thus far. But this card is just, I think it's going to have a lot of collectability long term. I personally love the card. When I think of Lorcana, I think of the Brave Little Tailor art. I think that this is like, to draw a comparison, I think this is like the Pikachu of Pokemon. I think that the face of Lorcana is Mickey Mouse Brave Little Tailor. I think that obviously Elsa and things like that are the biggest chase cards. Not all Pikachus are the most expensive cards. Obviously, you have the Illustrator and things like that. But I just think that this is the Pikachu of Pokemon, if you will, just to draw a comparison. I think the Brave Little Tailor Mickey is the face of the brand. So you're looking for $200 for that card. So if you think about it, all in cost for getting the box and grading was, we said around 400 probably all in. You're looking at 200 and then 100 for the Oswald right there. We hop over to the next card in the block, which is the Ursula, and you're already at another 100 plus, 120, 130, 140, 130, etc. So now, I mean, you're already all in it. You've sold 3 cards and you have your cost back for buying the box and grading. So there's a lot of sell-through rate on these cards. There's not a ton of listings. Obviously, this is going to continue to go up. The supply of the graded cards is going to continue to go up. Right now, it's in the hundreds. Next week, it might be at 180. Week after that, it might be 200. Week after that, 250. These are going to continue to go up. But at the end of the day, there's a ton of sell-through rate on these because there is a lot of demand for these particular cards. And this is the things that I love to see as a collector, because right now, I don't think people understand how much of the Lorcana market is driven by the player base. Even the enchanteds, a lot of the times, the higher price enchanteds, regardless of IP, regardless of collectability, is just what's popular in the meta. And there's so many players in Lorcana, and it is a player first game, and that's how they went to market, so it makes complete sense. The collectors are really a small percentage of the overall market. And so I think it's really cool to see, like, the Ursula Deceiver card. This card is incredibly playable. It is very much in the meta. A raw copy of this card, I think, is like $70 to $80, but there's still people buying a PSA 10 copy for 120, 130, 140, and that's strictly collectors, right? No one's buying this at a PSA 10 to cut it out to then put it in their deck. And I think that this is just really cool to see on the strictly the collector side of things. At the end of the day, these are collector's cards. It comes from a collector's box. It's an alt art. It's made for collectors. But just like me, when I play Lorcana, I want to have the cool shiny cardboard in my decks. Like, I play with all my enchanteds that aren't graded. I play with all my alt arts. If I have an alt art variant of that card that isn't graded, I'm putting that thing in a perfect sleeve. I'm then double sleeving it. I'm then triple sleeving it and putting it in the deck. Like, that's just how I operate. But at the end of the day, it's cool to see the collector side of things kind of drive these markets, because there's not that many of us, guys. Lorcana is very much, the market is driven around the players, and I think that that's going to change over time, especially as we get some of these cards become older and older, maybe out of circulation or out of playability. You're gonna start to see that shift. But right now, a lot of the market is driven by the player side of things. Hopping over to the Bruno, we're at about $100 roughly. Anywhere, or no, we even got some lower ones, $60 to $100 for the Bruno and a PSA 10, which isn't that much of a surprise. And this is one where it's not very playable, so there's not a lot of sell-through rate on these. Obviously, Bruno isn't iconic as Ursula or Brave Little Tailor, right? So there's that going for it as well. But it's just not a very playable card. So you can get a PSA 10 copy for $64. Hop over to the Cindy Stout Hearted, a playable card, iconic IP, 110 last sold just yesterday, so another $100 card. And then we look at Vanellope Vaughn Sheets, and she is at 110 for last sold just a couple of days ago. So you're talking about 100, Bruno will say 70. We've got 200 for the Brave Little Tailor, 100, 190. You're looking at a $700, roughly $800 box. After, if you do get PSA 10s across the board, you add in the other Mickey, you're staring at $1,000 product between seven different cards. Obviously, that card doesn't come in the box, but it's the same set, if you will, in terms of the D23 2024. And I think these are just cards that are going to have a lot of collectability long term. Like I said, the art is fantastic. I think the set of 6, obviously Bruno, not the strongest IP, but still one that's very cool, and I think is going to have a little bit of collectability long term. I shouldn't say a little little bit. They're all gonna have collectability long term. That is not gonna. It's not all created equally. The Brave Little Tailor is definitely the most expensive, and that's for a reason. Once again, I think, unless I'm wrong, I think it is the first enchanted foil Mickey, which gives it some additional collectability. But all in, I just think that it's a really good, really good product. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to do in the short term. I don't know if it's going to come down a little bit. I don't know if it's going to go up a little bit. Obviously, all signs are pointing towards it going up, but I don't like to make any promises in terms of price action. But I think 285 is probably a fair price at this point in this market. Obviously, the lowest on the market. If you can maybe work a Facebook deal or talk to a seller and do some sort of direct deal, I think that makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's a very hot product, and we've seen what happened with the original D23 2022 collector's boxes. Obviously, the crown jewel, the grail of Lorcana is that box set, first edition stamp and all of that. So it's apples and oranges, but still a very cool product here. Displays very well. Art inside, 10 out of 10. And they get a gem mint rate a lot of the time, right? It's a very well packaged product. The cards are very well taken care of. And it's just a really cool product. So it just has me feeling really good overall about the hobby and about collecting, and thinking about, you know, getting my kids as they continue to grow up and they start their own collections. Like, I don't know, I'm just feeling really bullish on collecting and the hobby, and I'm just really excited for my kids to continue to age and get more and more into it. I just think this is going to be something we can really bond over and have a ton of fun with. Obviously, me and my daughter, she's the reason why I got into Lorcana. I shouldn't say the reason we got in. She's the reason why it is what it is today for us. I just bought some packs because my friends were talking about it, and it sounded something like something fun to do with her. We opened that first pack, and we pulled an uncommon Elsa, and her eyes lit up, and she was just on cloud nine, and here we are, you know, a year later, and you know, a lot of our time in day to day is in Lorcana, which was not expected. That is not how this started. It just it grew to that because I it's just magical. Especially coming from like a lot of you guys that I talk to in the community, 90s kids that grew up with Pokemon, and now we get a chance to kind of rediscover that. You know, like for me, Pokemon just doesn't do it anymore. Like a lot of the new stuff, I just don't. It doesn't resonate with me, and that's not to say it's bad, but it's just not my thing. But this with my family that I can do, and it's such a damn fun game, and especially as my daughter gets a little bit older and we can start playing, and my son, like, I don't know, I'm really excited about the future. We have the Vegas event this weekend. Good luck to everyone going to that. We've then got Seattle, and then we're gonna start to get into the Continentals and the Worlds, and like, I don't know, man. There's just so much really cool stuff going on. I'm tremendously excited about the future of Lorcana and the hobby overall. And what I'll say is, I'll end with this today. The Discord is starting to get quite a few members in there. I really need to set aside some time and do like roles and kind of build it out a little bit more. But if you're interested in collecting Lorcana, if you want to show off your collection, if you want to just chat about what are you buying, what are you selling, gem mint rates, anything like that, anything relevant to our community, we have people in there that talk about meta and things like that. If you're interested in in chatting Lorcana at all, I would say hop into the Discord and go at it. We have a lot of members in there. Everyone's really active, and it's pretty cool to see what it's become. And thank you to everyone who's watched the videos, subscribed. We're getting really close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm gonna have to do. I'm not really a big fan of like doing a ton of like giveaways and things like that, but I think at 1,000 it would just make sense. I would have never thought they were, you know, anywhere close to 1,000, or would have had 1,000. Whenever I started this, I didn't plan on that. But I appreciate all the kind words you guys have given me. Overall, it's been a 10 out of 10 experience in terms of doing these videos and the feedback and things like that. It's been an absolute blast. So with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for me today. Hope you all have a good weekend. Safe travels to everyone who is going to Vegas. I wish you all the best of luck on your journey for a golden Mickey. And with that being said, we'll be back with another video soon, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.